Hey everybody, welcome again to the night class. This is going to be a quick lesson, hopefully a quick video. I'm going to go over this Chapter 6 review practice test. It is a practice test, so hopefully there won't be too many hiccups on it. So I'm going to go through it kind of quick. Feel free to pause the video or rewind or go back if you missed something. But I'm going to go as fast as I can just so the video is not very long. All right, so 1, 2, and 3, we are going from radians to degrees, and it says round to the nearest tenth if necessary. So when you do this, you are multiplying by 180 over pi. The pi's cancel, and you get 540 degrees. Piece of cake. Number 2, same thing. 180 degrees over pi. Pi's cancel. Multiply that out. You get 66 degrees. And last but not least, 180 degrees over pi. Multiply that out. The pi's cancel. And you get 56.25 degrees. But it says round to the nearest tenth. So we're going to say 56.3 degrees. And that's all there is to those. All right. Our next 3 is the reverse. It says change each degree measure to radian measure and leave it in terms of pi. So we're going to do basically the same thing, but it's going to be the reciprocal. So we're going to be multiplying by 180 over pi. Leave the pi in and basically just stick in your calculator negative 150 divided by 180. And reduce that fraction and put your pi with it. So that's negative 5 pi over 6. This one will be pi over 180. Again, 16 over 180 reduces to 4 over 45. So that will be 4 pi over 45. And for number 6, multiply by pi over 180. And negative 245 divided by 180 reduces to negative 49 over 36, and you just put your pi with it at the top there. Okay, those are nice, quick, and easy. For 7 and 8, read the directions carefully. It says find the area, so you need to know the area formula of a sector. That is 1/2 r squared times theta. And remember, your theta has to be in radians. If it's not in radians, you have to put it in radians. So, area will equal 1/2 times 13 feet squared times pi over 5 is in radians. You just stick all that in your calculator and you get rounded to the nearest tenth, 53.1, and that will be square feet. Same thing with number 8, same formula, 1/2. R in this one is 38.5 meters squared. This time the angle is in degrees, so I'm going to say 115 pi divided by 180. That will change it to radians, and I'll let my calculator do the rest. Okay. Put that in your calculator, you get 1,487.533213, which will just be 0.5 rounded to the nearest tenth square meters. All right. 9 and 10. This time we are finding the length of the arc length, and again we're rounding to the nearest tenth. It gives me my radius. The formula you need to know is S, which stands for arc length. S is R times theta, and again, your theta has to be in radians. If it's not in radians, you need to put it in radians. So, S equals R was 10 centimeters times theta is pi over 5, which that is in radians. And you just stick all that in your calculator and you'll get 6.28, which rounds to 6.3 centimeters. Number 10, we are rocking and rolling, same process. The direction says my radius is 10 centimeters, so that doesn't change. 65 degrees, I need to change to radians, so I say 65 pi over 180 to make it radians. And then I stick that in my calculator, and I get 11.344, which reduces or rounds to 11.3 centimeters. All right, number 11 and 12 and 13 and 14. These are the ones where you can draw them or you can use the hand. So first let's figure out what is tangent of 3 pi over 2. That would be, change that to degrees. Let's see here, so 180 times 3/2 is 270. So this is like finding the tangent of 270. And actually, I'm not going to have to use my fingers on this one, my hands on this one, because 270 is it's not in a quadrant. So 270 is down here. I'm going to use my unit circle. That is at 0, -1. If you remember, you rock, excellent rock, you excellent. So this is the tangent's the one we're using, y over x. So y is -1 over x is 0. This will be undefined. Boom. Okay. Pi over 4. If I change that to degrees, the pi's cancel, and basically we're figuring out what is the cosine of 180 divided by 4. 45. Cosine of 45 degrees. All right, that is in quadrant 1. So I know it's going to be positive, and I'm going to, let's see here, I'm going to use my hand trick, just so you find it right here. All right, here's my hand, 45 degrees right here. We're going, that's the middle finger is your 45 degrees, so 0, 30, 45, 60, 90. So 45, and I'm finding cosine, so that's the number of fingers to the left of that finger, so it's square root of, there's 2 fingers. So square root of 2 over 2. Oops. There we go. Square root of 2 over 2. And since it's in the first quadrant, I don't have to worry about my sign. I know it's positive. All right. Sine 13, 3 pi over 2. We already did this once, so I know that's sine of 270. So I'm going to use the same point I used over here. Same exact point. But this time I'm doing sine. Sine, if you remember, is y over r. U rock. Okay. So y over r would equal, let's see here, -1 over r is always 1 in the unit circle. So that reduces to -1. And last but not least, I made a boo-boo, guys. Sorry. I hope you don't mind. 11 and 14 are the exact same problem, so this one will be undefined as well. Congratulations, you just hopefully got 2 right for the price of 1. All right, 15, 16, 17, we have to find the amplitude, the period, the phase shift in direction, and the vertical shift in direction of each graph. Okay, so I gave you plenty of space to work it out here, so let's see here. Amplitude is the number that's in front of your sine or cosine, so in this case it is 1. Your period is equal to 2 pi over k. Well, k is right here. It's the part that's in front of the theta, so 2 pi over 1/2. If you multiply by the reciprocal, that is 4 pi is my period. My phase shift is -c over k. C for this problem is -4 pi. So -4 pi divided by k again was 1/2. So that will be, let's see here, that would be positive 4 pi divided by 1/2 would be 8 pi. And since it's positive, that's going to the right. Okay, that's my phase shift. 8 pi over to the right, period was 4 pi, amplitude was 1, and finally my vertical shift, which is easy to see, it's going 6 up. Okay, very, very quick and easy. Again, amplitude and vertical shift, you should not miss those. Period and phase shift, you have a little bit of figuring to do. Okay, so 16, amplitude would be 6. Remember, your amplitude, when you're naming your amplitude, is always positive. Period, 2 pi over k. K for this problem is 6, so 2 pi over 6 reduces to pi over 3. Phase shift, well, there's no parentheses. So when there's no parentheses like that, your phase shift is 0, okay? Or you can put none, whichever one you want to do. And your vertical shift is right here. It's -6, and since it's negative, it is going down, okay? So if it's positive, it goes up for your vertical shift. If it's negative, it goes down for your vertical shift. Remember, vertical means up and down. Phase shift means left and right, okay? And last one, 17 of this section. A is -3, but remember amplitude is always positive, so positive 3. Your period is 2 pi over k. In this case, k is 8, so 2 pi over 8. That will reduce to pi over 4. My phase shift, I do have a parentheses on this problem, so my phase shift is negative pi over 4, so negative c, excuse me, my c is negative pi over 4, my phase shift is negative c over k, so that will be negative pi over 4 divided by k was 8, and if you put that in your calculator, or not in your calculator, you just do it by knowledge, 2 negatives make a positive, and that will be pi over 4 times 8 is 32, and that would be to the right because it is positive. Okay, if it was negative, it would go to the left. And finally, for my vertical shift, there is nothing out here. It's not going up or down, so it is 0, or you can put none. All right, and the last two, we're going the other direction. They give us the amplitude, period, phase shift, and vertical shift, and we have to write the equation. 18, we're writing it for sine. 19, we are writing it for cosine, so make sure you write it for the right one. So we're going to have y equals plus or minus, my amplitude is 6 times something, my vertical shift is -4. You can do that without doing anything else, okay? Just knowing that, you get half the problem right. Okay, but we got to find k and c. Remember, I should have wrote it earlier, but I'm kind of in a hurry. So y equals, it's a times the sine or cosine, whichever one you're doing, of k theta plus c plus h. Okay, that is your formula for it. So here we go. To get k, we are going to say, all right, k, I know my period is equal to 2 pi over k, and it told me right here my period is 2 pi over 3, so 2 pi over 3, and since the 2 pi's are the same on top, that means my k has to be the same as the bottom, so k equals 3. So 3 theta, and then my phase shift is -c over k, and it told me, or I figured out my k was 3, so we're going to say c over -3 equals, what is the phase shift? It told me the phase shift was -2 pi. So I multiply both sides by -3, and c is positive 6 pi. So plus 6 pi. Done. All right. 19, last one, y equals plus or minus. Amplitude is 4.9. We know we're going to have cosine this time of something in the parentheses, and then the vertical shift is minus 5 on the end. And here we go. So to get my period, it's 2 pi over k, and I know my period is 4 pi over 5. So I'm going to cross multiply this one. So k times 4 pi equals 2 pi times 5. If I divide by 4 pi, divide by 4 pi, the 4 pi's cancel here. That will be k is, the pi's cancel, was that 10 over 4? And k will reduce to 5 over 2. So 5 over 2 times theta. And then to get your c, your phase shift, negative c over k. Well, we just found k, so c is c over negative 5 halves equals your phase shift on this problem is negative pi over 2. I multiply both sides times negative 5 over 2 to cancel it. Those will go away. C will be, that'll be positive 5 pi over 4. So I put plus 5 pi over 4. Done. All right. Oops, excuse me. Those are a quick lesson on how to find the answers. Here's the key. If you need it, I'll stop it just for a second, just in case you missed one. You can always go back and check the others' answers with what I've done, but I believe we got them all correct. Okay, this is just the answers. It's not how we work them. So I hope this finds you well. I hope everybody learned a little bit and enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time, and until then, stay above the line.